Hello class, welcome to lab number 3. So let's get this started. Let's do some pre-work first. So we're gonna prepare our submission early this time. So let's minimize Firefox. Let's go to Home, CIS 106, Labs. Let's create a folder here for lab 3. You can close that. Now let's go to Applications, Programming, and let's open VS Code. Okay, make sure you have your CIS 106 folder open. If you don't, click on File, Open Folder, and then CIS 106, then Open. Now over here, open lab number 3. Let me zoom in a little bit. Notice the arrow down. Click on the +1 for creating a new file and call this lab3.md. Let's go back to the instructions and copy this markdown. You just use the little copy icon on the corners. Very convenient. Then click on Paste, save your file, and close VS Code. We're gonna get back to that later. Keep in mind the naming convention that we're using for our images over here. Okay. Now, question 1. Now, question 1 you can skip if you have the following. You did lab 2 version 1. You like the way your Ubuntu machine is right now. It performs smooth. You don't mind the speed, and you don't particularly care about getting a little bit more having it a little bit faster. But more importantly, you like the interface the way it is now, because notice that my interface is very different. I am using GNOME Classic, and this is what this question is gonna do. We're gonna install GNOME Classic and we're gonna play around a little. This is not a mandatory question. Now, for those of you who did version 2 of the lab for underpowered PCs, the M series Mac, is the same as lab number 2 because you have a good computer, so you have GNOME 42, and if you like it, that's fine. But if you did this version that you started with Ubuntu server, you are gonna do this question 1. If your environment looks like this, you will do question 1, right? But if you're using GNOME 42 and you like GNOME 42, you don't have to. I still recommend that you do it, because it is faster, it's more efficient in terms of speed, but not gonna force it on you. Now, since I already have this all installed already, I do not need to run this command. To install GNOME Classic, run this command, and once you run this command, all you have to do is sign out, restart your virtual machine. In this case, I'm just gonna log out to show you. Once you restart your virtual machine, you're gonna be greeted with this display manager. This is LightDM. Click on the Ubuntu icon that is gonna appear over here, and then click on GNOME Flashback Metacity. Then type your password and press enter. Again, those instructions are for those who decided to install GNOME Classic. If you want to stick to GNOME 42, skip question 1. Move along to question 2. Let me open back the lab. Okay. Once you do this, you're gonna open the file manager, you're gonna open the terminal application, and you're gonna take a screenshot of the desktop environment. If Flameshot is not working, the shortcut for Flameshot is not working, either launch the application manually or just delete the shortcut and add it again. I left instructions in the lab for you. So click on Labs, lab number 3, and here you're gonna name this question 1.1.png. Click on Save. Now for question number 2, for question 1.2, this is still part of question 1, we are gonna change the desktop environment, the wallpaper, and we're gonna modify this environment a little to make it feel more Windows-like, right? Make you feel more at home. First of all, let's change the wallpaper to something that is more like us. Wallheaven.cc has a lot of beautiful wallpapers. I like this one, so I'm gonna pick this one. Click on Save Image. Click on Pictures. Here, create a new folder called Wallpapers. And then I'm just gonna give this a better name than that. So just call it mountain.png. I think this was a JPEG. Now to change the wallpaper, right click on the desktop, click on change background, add pictures, find your picture, click on open, click on the picture, and the wallpaper changed. For the next piece of customization that we're going to do is we're going to move this bar to the bottom, and we're going to add all of this stuff to the bar. Now, how do we do that? Well, first of all, I want to increase the size of this bar here because it's too small for me. This panel is too small. This is how you do it. Let me just close Tilix. We don't need it. Let me close the task the file manager. I don't need it, and I want to save RAM. Again, to resize this, what you need to do is press and hold Super and Alt. The Super key is the Windows key. Super key or Windows key, and then the Alt key. Hold them down, and then right click on an empty area of the panel. This menu will pop up, and you're gonna click on Properties. Then here you can change the size. I'm gonna choose 40. Yeah, 40 is a good size for me. Okay, now we're gonna close this. We need to move these items to the top, except for the window of the workspace switcher. We're not gonna use that. This is the show desktop button. We want this button over here. So we're gonna press Control, Alt, leave it pressed, and then right click on the icon. It's gonna give you a menu. We're gonna click on Move. Notice how my cursor changed. Now I can simply drag my mouse to the corner, and that's it. You can move this all the way to the other side if you want as well, but I like mine over here. Good. Now we're gonna move the open applications to the top. Right click on these dots that you see in the little corner over here, bottom left corner. You see those dots? Again, Super key, Alt key, hold them, then right click. Click on Move, and then move them to the top. Done. Now, here in the desktop, I want the applications that I use most frequently. VS Code and Tilix, right? My terminal and my code editor. So click on Applications, Programming, click and hold Visual Studio Code. Then drag your mouse to the desktop. System Tools, click and hold Tilix and drag it to the desktop. Done. Now I have shortcuts in my desktop. Perfect. Now we're gonna delete this panel over here because we don't want it anymore. Again, Super, Alt, press them, leave them pressed, and then right click on an empty area. Then click on Delete this panel and click on Delete. Perfect. Now we're gonna move this to the bottom. Super, Alt, leave them pressed, right click on an empty area and click on Properties. Here you can select the location. I want them at the bottom. And that's it. We are done. I'm gonna close this. Finito. Let's go back to the instructions. Now we're gonna take a screenshot of the desktop environment. Save it a screenshot as q1.2.png. Print screen. Again, my entire desktop environment. Save. And make sure you're in lab number 3. And the name for this is question 1.2.png. Click on Save. Let's continue with the instructions. Now let's move along to question number 2. We're gonna set Tilix as the default terminal emulator that we're going to use because it offers a lot of features that are nice and that make us more productive. So we're gonna click on the copy icon, or we're gonna select everything and copy, whichever of the two methods you prefer. Minimize Firefox, open Tilix, paste your command over here. Again, the command is this one here, and then press enter. Type your password, and our default terminal emulator has become Tilix. Done. Now, we're gonna add a keyboard shortcut to the terminal emulator as well. Why? Because it makes us more efficient. When you need a terminal real quick, Ctrl-Alt-T, we have a terminal. So, let's minimize this. Click on Applications, System Tools, Preferences, and then click on Settings. You can also get to this menu by simply right-clicking on the desktop and clicking on Display Settings. Right? You can also get to this menu by clicking on the gears icon on the bottom right corner and then clicking on System Settings. 3 ways of getting to the same place. Now we're gonna click on the magnifying glass and type keyboard. Click on keyboard, view and customize shortcuts, scroll all the way down, view and custom shortcuts, click on the plus icon and then type tilix. The command is also going to be tilix. Click on set shortcut and I'm gonna select Ctrl Alt and T. You can also select any other key binding that you prefer. Click on replace and we're done. If I need a quick terminal, Ctrl Alt T, I open my terminal. You can also add a shortcut for Firefox if you want, as many shortcuts as you want. It's your computer. Do whatever you prefer. Now we're gonna customize tilix a little bit. So open tilix, click on the hamburger menu over here, click on preferences, disregard this, click on appearance, and the first thing that we want is a wide handle for splitters, right? Let me disable it so that I show you. When you split the terminal in two, notice that this line is very thin, but when we make it wide, that it's wider, and it makes it easier for us to resize the terminals, which is pretty cool. Now I'm gonna change this to the dark theme because I prefer dark theme on my terminal, and I'm gonna use a background image as well because I like a background image on my terminal, right? This is not mandatory. You don't have to do it if you don't want to. So I'm gonna go back to wallheaven.com and I'm gonna look for a dark minimalistic background. Try to pick something that has a plain background and it doesn't have a lot of graphics in there, because otherwise it's gonna conflict with the text in your terminal. It's just annoying. Let me see which one I like from this ones. This is a good option. That's a good option too. That one is a good option too. Let's see Groot. Oh, it's not Groot, but it's cool. So I'm gonna go with this one. Make sure that the image is either a JPEG or a PNG. Make sure you save it in wallpapers. Close that. Now click on background image, pictures, and select your background. Again, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. Now let's go on default. Then over here, if you want to change the beam to an I-beam like this, or to an underline, you can if you want. I'm just gonna leave the block. In the color section, I'm gonna switch it to Linux, but you have other options as well, as you can see. I just prefer the Linux one. These bold colors are cool. And now I'm gonna add some transparency until my image looks, yeah, that's about right for me. And I'm gonna close this. That's as much as I'm gonna do. And we already did this part, so we're good. Oh, sorry, we are in this section here. My mistake, I'm very tired. Okay, we did this, and now let's practice some commands. So I'm gonna put my instructions on the right, and I'm gonna put my terminal on the left. Let me increase the size a little bit, and the size a little bit over here as well. Let me clear, and open the manual page here. So we're gonna type man echo. And now we're gonna perform these tasks over here. First, displaying a line of text without a new line. By default, echo, see if I do echo hello, by default it's gonna output a new line. It's invisible over here, it's an invisible character, but that is why your shell prompt appears in a new line. We can disable this by typing echo -n, then hello. And notice that this time around, the output gets right there squeezed next to the shell prompt because the new line wasn't inserted. Display line of text that includes a horizontal tab. For this, we need to enable \escapes. So we do echo -E, and now we need to insert a horizontal tab. So we can do \T, as you can see over here, for tab, and then type hello. Notice that we have a tab now at the beginning. Display 2 lines of text in a single echo command. And that we can do using the new line / right over here. So we can do echo -E. This is line 1 \n. This is line 2. Press enter and notice that this inserted a new line and then this appeared in a second line. Display 2 lines of text in a single echo command with the second line starting with a tab. So let's repeat the previous command, but after the new line we're going to insert the tab. Press enter and notice that we have a tab now over here at the beginning. Display 2 lines of text in a single echo command that starts with a tab. Okay, so now we're going to repeat the same command, but we're going to put a tab at the beginning as well. And notice that both of them started with a tab. Take a screenshot of your terminal showing the man page and your commands. Okay, this should be good enough. And let's call this question2.png. Click on save. Now we're going to write a basic shell script. So I'm going to close these terminals because I don't need them open. Let's exit here. And let's open a text editor. So click on applications, and here you can use Genie or you can use text editor. I'm going to use text editor. But I'm going to modify the interface a little bit because I don't like the size of the font. So we're going to change the font, at least I'm going to change the font. You don't have to do this, to 16. And I would like to use this theme over here, Oblivion. Okay, now the first line is supposed to be, it's meant to be, and it has to be the shell declaration. Now here we're going to add this text, and we need to fix these quotes here because they are not correct. I am also going to add space here. Notice that this line is going to display, this script will print the current date, and then because we provide -n, the date command will execute and the output will be pasted right over here. That's why I added that little space over here just to make it look nicer. Now we're going to click on save, go to CIS 106, labs, lab 3, and then provide the name of your script. The name for this script will be lab 3 script 1.sh. Click on save. Okay, perfect. Now, show it saved. Good. Save the script. Now add the following comments at the top. So we're gonna copy this, and we're gonna insert this comment after line 1 but before line 2. Right over here. So after bin bash but before the first echo command. We don't need this part over here, so we're gonna click on save. Now, author, please type your name over here. The current date, you know, I'm doing this lab on February 14th. Happy Valentine's Day for everyone. And then leave the rest as is. Click on save. Your script is saved. Now we're gonna run this script. So we can close this. Open Tilix. Make this a little bigger. And the command will be bash CIS 106 labs lab 3 and then lab 3 script1.sh. Press enter and your script executes with no problem. Let's take a screenshot of the terminal showing the output of the script. If this went wrong, if this doesn't work, double check your spelling. And trace back your steps as well, because likely a mistake happened along the way. So I'm gonna take a screenshot of my terminal. I don't need all of that, so I'm just gonna copy the part that I need. Click on save, and we're gonna call this question3.png. I believe this is question 3, right? Question 3, perfect. And click on save. Okay, now this is wrong. This is missing the challenge question. This is missing the challenge question. Okay, well, no challenge question then. What can be done? I'm gonna pause the video now, edit this file so that it includes the challenge question, then I'm going to explain the challenge question. Okay, perfect. Now it's fixed. Here is the challenge question for this lab. You're gonna write a shell script that displays this information over here, right? So this is how it's supposed to look like. Notice that this is an empty line. This is an empty line over here. And this is an empty line. So this is an echo command. That is an echo command, right? And this empty line here can be done also with an echo command as well. Just simply provide an empty space, right? Here are some tips to help you. You will need to read the man page of echo, uname, and date. Those are the commands I used in the screenshot, right? And this command over here as well is in the presentation for RAM information. Now, save the script in the same directory folder as you saved the question 3 script, which is lab 3. Please name the script challenge_lab3.sh so that you can simply copy this command and run it on the terminal. I am gonna write the script now, then I'm gonna run the command to show you. If running this didn't work, it's because you made a mistake along the way. So retrace your step, go back from the beginning. Chances are you have a typo somewhere. Now, I cannot provide you assistance in solving the problem. But if you are stuck, you're having problems running the script, something is not working, you can reach out to me and I might be able to hint you or to guide you towards the right direction, or at least give you the proper documentation or tell you where to look so that you can find the answer that you're looking for. Try to complete this on your own, right? Please repeat question 3 as much as you need to understand how to write the script and how to run the script. That is the point of the challenge question over here. Your output should look similar to mine, but with obviously different values. How I am gonna grade you here? Well, first of all, let's prepare our submission and then I'll show you. So I'm gonna minimize this, I'm gonna close my terminal, open VS Code. Okay, now notice the naming convention that I use over here is the same as the files that I named here. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna right click and I'm gonna click on Markdown Preview Enhance. Do I see my screenshots? Yes, they are right there where they are supposed to be. Notice that every question is labeled correctly using appropriate Markdown syntax. Challenge question is not done yet, so we are getting there now. So this is what we're gonna do. I am gonna pause the video, solve the challenge question, and then take a screenshot. Okay, well, I also changed the screenshot over here to reflect what we're doing. Just makes more sense, and also to fix the date command over here because it was from an older semester. Perfect. So now I'm gonna take my screenshot. Oh, sorry, I need to run the command. So I can copy the command from here and paste it on my terminal. And don't worry, later on we are gonna explain how all of this works. Click on save, and now this is gonna be Q4. I can close my terminal. refresh the preview, and verify that all my screenshots are in the right place. Okay, perfect. So my challenge question is there, everything is there the way it's supposed to be. Now I need to provide the source of this script. Now this file is located in the same folder as lab number 3, so all I have to do is simply put over here the name of the file, and that will work. That's gonna create a hyperlink to this file, and that's what I'm gonna use to take a look at your script. Obviously I'm not gonna click it, because if I click it, it's gonna show you the answer, and I don't want you to see the answer. I want you to come up with the answer yourself. I'm gonna close the preview, right click on an empty area, and then export to PDF. Almost done. Perfect. So my PDF file is done. Let's verify everything is the way it's supposed to be. I can close this, and now it's time for us to do our git commands. So again, we're gonna do a pull. Everything is up to date the way it's supposed to be. Now we're gonna do a git add period to add the changes. Good. Notice that this changes to an A. Good. Git commit -m lab 3 finished. Good. And now we're gonna push. Git push. Perfect. So if we go to our GitHub repository, labs, lab number 3, you are gonna give me the URL to the lab number 3.md file. And here is the hyperlink that I was talking about. Notice how over here shows you at the bottom of Firefox the URL to the script. What you're gonna give me is this URL and the PDF file. The PDF file and the URL to lab number 3. This URL and the PDF file. And from there I'll get the script. So, how am I going to grade you? I will navigate to your repo. I'm going to read the script. I will download the script. I'm going to run it in my virtual machine. If the script runs and it gets me the same output, great. You got your grade. Otherwise, if it gets me a partial outcome, partial grade, and so on. Every question in this lab is worth 25 points, right? 4 questions, 25 points. Now, that's it. I will see you in the next video for your notes or week report. Take care.